day, I want your touch. In every way, I can't give it up. Anything, just to feel the rush. This just ain't enough. Oh, we make my life
So guys, I want to say thank you so much for 100,000 1,000 subscribers, and thank you so much. For today's tutorial, we'll be making use of two fabrics. I got this interesting fabric. I'll be needing about 1.5 yards. Also, this is the main fabric and it's about 3 yards. It's also very beautiful. We'll be making use of both of them today. Also, our meter rule, our measuring tape, our scissors, and our chalk. Let's go right into the video. Let's start with our vertical measurements. The breast point for my client is 11 inches and I will mark that down. Waistline is 17 inches. I will also mark that down. I will mark my hip line at 26 inches. We'll be moving down to our full length. Now the full length I'll be working with is 56, but what I have here is 50 inches. I'll be adding at least 8 inches ruffles to the bottom part. So don't worry, our full length would be complete at the end of the day. I'll transfer the measurements to the other side and I'll connect those points together to form a straight line. Please take note that I folded my fabric into 4 equal halves. I'll be cutting the back and the front together and I'll go on and connect the lines. At the bust point, I would mark my bust round measurement divided by 4 plus 2.5 inches seam allowance. I'll move over to the waistline, my waist divided by 4 plus 2.5 inches seam allowance, and I'll mark that down at the waistline. I'll head over to my hip line. I would mark my hip measurements divided by 4 plus 2.5 inches seam allowance. I would also take what I have at the hip line and also mark it at the hemline. I would also mark that same measurement at somewhere around the knee line so I can make a straight line. I'll connect these points together. At the shoulder line, what I have there is around 21 inches. I would come in by 1 inch at the bust line and I'll connect that point to meet the shoulder line. Next is to take my neckline. The width of my neckline will be 4 inches. I'll first of all take the neckline for the back, which is 1.5. I'll mark that down. For the front, I'll go in with 7 or 7.5, and I'll use my curved rule to make a curve for the back neckline. And for the front neckline, I would connect it to form a V. Once you're done with this, go ahead and cut this out. Do take note that when cutting this, do not cut the front neckline first start with the back, cut out the back neckline and go ahead and cut out the remaining. Notch the hip line. Directly under our bust point, draw a curve just to smoothen it out so you don't have a sharp edge there, and continue cutting. At the shoulder line, I would come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. I'll mark that down and connect that point to the neckline. Now take out the front piece. You can choose to close the neckline of the back with a bias, but I'll be making use of the lining. For the front piece, I would go in by 4 inches all the way down. I'm just marking 4 inches all the way down. Connect these points together. At the shoulder line, I would go in by 2.5 inches. I'll mark that down and I'll blend the 2.5 at the shoulder line to meet the 4 inch at the bust point. This is the part I'll be using to cut out on the other fabric, and I'll cut this out. Take note that I didn't cut exactly at the line I had made. I cut at about half inch or about a quarter of an inch away from the line. After cutting it out, I added about 1 inch sewing allowance to the side. You're going to cut out two pieces of this. Fold and run a stitch at the neckline and end there. Do the same for the other side. Open up one of the pieces to the right side. Lay it as flat as you can on the table. Put the other one right side facing each other. Match up the top, or rather the shoulder line. Make sure the place where your sewing stops matches also. Run a straight stitch all the way down and end about 10 inches away from the down. I didn't want the bulkiness of top stitching at the center front, so I came up with this technique. After running the stitch downwards and ending about 10 inches away from the hemline, now to turn this, just raise the up part and then flip the other side over. Lay it flat, and I've already ironed mine. As you can see, it came out very neat. You see the slits came out neatly also, and this is what I have at the back. It also came out very neat. On to the next step. These are the three parts for the front piece. Join the side pieces onto the center piece. Run a stitch to join them together. Do the same also for the other side. After stitching them together, this is what we have. Please make sure to iron this seam allowance very well. I'll be adding about 8 inches ruffles to the hemline. Place the back piece on the front piece to join the shoulders. Match up the necklines. Flip the back side of the landing to the other side. and run a stitch. This is what we have. You see how neat it is. For the sleeve, I have cut out from the other fabric. Add this to the sleeve. Cut out the excesses also. Do the same for the other side. As you can see, I would overlock this part where I joined them together. The next step is to close the sides. I'll use about 1 inch sewing allowance to close the sides. I'll head over to my sewing machine and I'll come back to show you guys. For the ruffles, I have cut out this 8 inches by 75, and I'll go ahead and measure this out. I have about 60 inches here already and 15 inches. I have gone ahead to hem one side of the raw edges of the fabric all round, and I'll be using this fabric here to make ruffles at the hemline of our dress, just like this. And I'll sew it down. I have attached the other fabric also to the hem of our sleeves. This is the final look. As you can see, I have attached the ruffles to the hemline. You see how neat it is. I'll be overlocking this area also. Let's do a little voting in the comment section. Would you want me to attach these pearls or not? Well, this is it on my mannequin. See how beautiful it came out. Thank you for watching my video. Bye.